Melanie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Melanie Bonanno. I am the Assistant Director of Counseling and Student Wellbeing for Issaquah School District.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lorna Gilmore. I'm a family partnership specialist within the Equity and Family Partnership and Belonging Department. This presentation is on preparing for post-high school education college financial aid information night. It is a very long title, but pretty much it's about how to pay for post-high school education um, after your life in 12th grade and your high school career. So, Ina?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ina Gangerty. I am one of the 3 family liaisons. I primarily support the Liberty High School feeder pattern, and I'm happy to answer any questions or address any concerns you may have.
So just a reminder, if you have any questions, please put them in chat and we'll address them as it pertains to that point, or we will address them at the end of the presentation. So the purpose of this information session is to explain what are some post-high school education options, to learn what type of financial aids are available for students going to colleges or universities, also explain to some families and students and parents the different types of aids that are out there. What's the difference between grants, student loans, scholarships, work study? Parents and students learn a lot or hear a lot of these words and they're not sure what they mean. Also, what is the difference between FASFA and WASFA and how to apply for them? What's the timeline? And also, we're going to touch a little bit on Washington Guaranteed Admission Program because I know we're hearing a little bit more about it since May as our district is participating in that program. So we just have a slide or two to help you understand what that is. So post high school options. What does your student want to do after high school? Many parents often ask me, what is what do schools do to help our child or help my child figure out what they're going to be doing, what their career pathway could look like, what their life could look like post high school? And the answer is the school starts doing an activity with students on a platform called Zello, which students access through class links starting as early as 8th grade and using different questions and investigative discovery-based learning process. Students do those activities to get them a better understanding what their career pathway is. So the career pathway could be attending four-year college to get a bachelor's degree and so forth. They could be attending private or public universities, depending on what their interests are, depending on the availability or the ability for the family, the student to pay for that tuition. The student might be interested in going to a community college, a technical college. Some students might enlist in military service, or some students might go straight into getting a job as they determine what next steps are. So there are many options for students post high school. But this presentation is to talk about what are your options to pay for post high school colleges, including technical colleges, 2-year colleges, and 4-year college programs.
We include a lot of detail on this slide. I'm going to give a short version description. Depending on the type of college that a student wants to attend after high school, the steps to prepare can vary. So for a 2-year college or technical college pursuing a 2-year degree, there is a great opportunity in high school to begin to prepare. So 9th and 10th grade, you're taking classes to graduate, you're starting to, explore your interests, getting involved on campus. The High School and Beyond plan will help students explore career interests. In 11th grade, you're kind of like getting closer to the finish line. So you're double checking that you're on track to graduate. You're starting to check out what community and technical colleges have to offer and who might have a program that interests you. The College and Career Center in each high school provides a lot of support. So that's a great place to visit to learn more about the different options for 2 or 4-year colleges or for other post-high school plans. And then right before 12th grade, this is a great chance to maybe get a job or do some volunteer work or take some classes, preparing for the end of your high school career and entering your post-high school plan. You're updating Zello with that plan. And the great thing about two-year college is the application process isn't until second semester of your senior year. So during senior year, you continue really focusing on preparing for college by completing your high school classes, and you can work on completing financial aid forms. Then meeting with a college and career center, or meeting with your school counselor to make sure you have everything in order. As soon as second semester begins, that would be a good time to actually fill out the application. So for a two-year college, the application is fairly straightforward, and you will be accepted. So community colleges are accepting of all students. So you're filling out the application so they get to know you and create a student account, and then you can begin as soon as you're done with high school. Next slide. For four-year college or university, the process can be more detailed. So again, in ninth grade, you're starting out high school, you're paying attention to those grades because colleges do look at your academic performance. They want to see that a student is prepared for college by the time they are finishing high school. So your grades are important. Getting involved in clubs and showing colleges and universities that you're well-rounded is great. In 10th grade, the PSAT, a practice SAT, is a great opportunity to explore how you might do on a college entrance placement exam. Many colleges don't require an SAT or ACT any longer, but this is a great practice opportunity. And again, Zello can help you explore. In 11th grade, this is a really great time to start learning a lot more about colleges. Each college is different, and they have different things to offer. Going on college visits throughout junior year gives you the opportunity to see how might you feel living in this college community. Does it feel like a fit for you? You're continuing to check and make sure you're on track to graduate. As you look at colleges and you become interested in them, you look at their admissions website, so you know what they're going to require on their application. They don't automatically accept all students, so understanding what their admissions process is in just beginning to explore that in junior year is helpful. And the College and Career Center and Counseling Office are there to help you. By the end of junior year, you might choose to sit the SAT or ACT. In the summer before 12th grade, you've got an opportunity to do more exploration. You can start to create an account on some of the college application websites like Common App or Coalition. And you could start to gather some of the forms that'll be necessary for financial aid. We'll talk about that later in this presentation. Again, doing volunteer work or having a job or taking classes helps to further prepare you for college. And then in the beginning of your senior year, for a four-year college, you want to start the application process at the beginning of your senior year. Some colleges might request letters of recommendation. So when you need to ask somebody else for something for your application, you want to give them ample time to prepare. Beginning of September is a good time to ask. You can then begin to complete the application and complete the financial aid forms, and just double check that you've got all of those requirements that for your college might look at. We'll talk more about what colleges look at throughout this process, but that helps to give you a timeline of how it might vary depending on the college that you would attend. We'll run it back to you.
Thank you, Melanie. So as you can see, a quick summary for four-year colleges, a really grade point average matters. It's one of the things that matters a lot for going into a college or university. Also, many colleges look at the type of rigorous classes you've taken, including honors, AP or IB, your extracurricular activities, volunteer work, and work experience is becoming a big thing that colleges are looking at. For private colleges, very often they look for letters of recommendation. in addition to the college application on the college app, the apps. And right now, a lot of the colleges, you have to fill out the applications through the Common App Coalition app. So you need to check the colleges that you're interested in attending to find out how you will be applying for college at their school. So it's usually through this app. Now for two-year college, it's a little bit of a different process. There's not as much of a pressure in getting those high GPA and the amount of rigorous classes. You can register directly to the college or the institution, the technical college. One of the things that we tell families, though, as part of the college application, many colleges ask for if financial aid is needed. So one of the big questions we're asked by many families is, we make over 250, 300,000, should we still apply? And the answer is, it's not going to hurt. So, and very often for private schools, they offer some kind of a package. And so we always say, yes, it's not going to hurt you. So why not apply and see what happens? So the cost of college for people who are new to the United States or have not attended college before, sometimes there are some surprises in what college tuition can include, because it's not just the tuition for the classes, which depends on how many classes you're taking. Sometimes you're taking more than a full load, but it's also the books and sometimes other fees. In addition, many colleges have requirements for living on campus. So if you're living in a dorm, where you're living makes a difference. The meal plan for where you're living at the dorm, or if you're eating out or living in an apartment. And then there are a lot of other expenses, especially if you're in an out of state or out of town college. Parking, gas, school supplies, entertainment, all of that. So all of these are some factors to consider as your child is going to college, or if you're a student, if you are going to a college. So the factors that determine the cost of tuition is, if your student is a resident of the state, you're usually getting a certain fee, versus if you're out of state. A lot of out of state colleges have a slightly different cost. And there's also a program that you will look into. We're not going to cover that, for how to cover out of state college, or what happens when you're paying for out of state colleges. At some schools, students must live on campus, so that's a factor to consider, as I said earlier. And at other schools, if a student lives at home, schools can ask permission to live at home and avoid the cost of room and meal fees. And it only applies to certain colleges and universities for that. So there are many methods of paying for college and university. Students can pay straight out of pocket, but if they don't have that money readily available, because for some colleges it's quite a big expense, students can apply for grants, for scholarships, for student loan, and for work study. So let's talk a little bit more about what each one of those things are. So grant, what is a grant? Grants are usually need-based on income, and the money is coming from the federal, the state, or the school institution. Again, this is based on financial need. Okay, so this is based on your income. It does not require the student to repay it. So it's basically a lump of money the student is going to get to pay for the tuition. And if you drop out or withdraw from the school, then usually there might be some kind of penalty or repayment or something that's involved. An example of a grant could be something called a Pell Grant, and you'll see that word on your on a letter that you'll get when you're getting your package deal after you've done this financial aid forms. So work study. Work study is work offered to the students who have financial need, and this is work usually on campus. So very often it's working in the library, or working as an assistant to a professor or a graduate student. And it's usually kind of easier jobs offered on campus, and they can be, maybe they are federal or state, but most often we see them on campus. And again, it's based on income. Okay, so it's going to be based on your income level if you qualify for being part of the work study program. So you're still working, but then you get it's easier to get that job. With certain jobs are safe for that, and that money you earn can go towards paying for tuition. Then you can do a loan. the loans can be private or federal loans that are income-based. These loans must be paid back, and the interest rates will vary. Very often, there are student loans, and the type of student loan that you accept may matter because depending on the type of job you take, your loan might be forgiven, or there might be different programs for that loan. So you do need to look into and research the type of loans that you're offered, which ones you want to accept, and the pros and cons of getting the different types of loans. And then finally, there's also a scholarship. So scholarships, students can apply for and receive scholarships from different institutions. They can be merit-based, they can be income-based, they can be based on parents, where the parents are working. Certain organizations, they have scholarships for the employees in that organization, or if you're part of some kind of an organization, daughters of certain organizations get priority for certain scholarships. So there are many sources of scholarships, and it is really, really important for students and parents to actively search and research what the possibilities are. You can apply for scholarships from different public, private, or nonprofit sources. There is a list of resources that we have listed, links, web links for resources that have different scholarships listed. In addition, each school on their college and career website has link for scholarships, and each of the scholarships have a little blurb section that explains what are the requirements and what's needed, and also due dates, because a lot of the due dates are some may have passed and some will be coming up. So you might want to look at that now, as you are getting ready for college, or even if you're a junior, you can look at them so you can kind of think ahead for the future next year as you apply. So applying for financial aid, the two big financial aid applications really are FASFA and WASFA, and you're going to hear them. And honestly, before 2 years ago, they were completely new to me, as my child hadn't started high school yet. Some other kind of scholarships would be the WSOS and the College Bound, and we'll talk more about what they are, because right now this is information overload. So we'll slowly go through each one of these types of financial aid and the two main forms, because that's the key one that all parents should be applying for, and the student should be applying.
Okay, so let's first talk about FAFSA. That stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So the application form is free. A student completes this with the support of their family, and that information then can be shared with colleges. Sometimes scholarship organizations would also like to see this information, and that can make you eligible for loans, for grants, for other financial aid. So it's step one. And even if you don't think that you would get any financial aid, there is you can only benefit from filling it out. So there's no downside to filling it out. The worst thing that would happen is, okay, no aid, but when you do fill it out, then it can be something that somebody asks for later in considering you for something that might be merit-based and not just based on your income. It's always a good idea for every family to fill this out in a student's senior year. So by filling this out, then that makes you eligible for federal government grants, but also can be for other types of aid like we've discussed. This doesn't bring your academic achievements into play. It's based only on income. And who can apply? So students who are US citizens or legal residents can apply. There are some non-citizen categories where you may be eligible to apply. So we've included a link so you can read more about those specifics. The parent's legal status doesn't factor in, just the student's legal status. This is a weird year. So normally the FAFSA form is available in the beginning of October. The form has been revamped. Hopefully we're going to see that it's simpler and more straightforward for families. So this year students can begin filling out the form starting by December 31st. So it is not yet available. It will become available at the end of December, and then it would be wise to fill it out as soon thereafter as possible. And then filling out the application in January would be for aid offered in the next school year. So for something you wait until your senior year to do. It's always better to apply early once it's open rather than later. The sooner you apply, the sooner you are eligible to receive money, and the longer you wait, the more the resources may be used up. Schools may have earlier deadlines to give students financial aid based on filling out FAFSA, so that can benefit you in a number of ways. And it's not a one and done situation. It is a form that you fill out every year that you are in college. So each year you need to reapply. You'll get well practiced by the end of your college career. In addition, you must maintain, be making academic progress in college. So continuing to earn credit and move forward in your academic career is important to continue to qualify for aid. So we've included a link to start the online process. And again, this is an end of December thing this year.
So we know that there was a lot of information, but note, if you complete the feedback form, we can email you this slide deck and you can see all of this information and go to the link if you're not your child is not a citizen, or if you are a student here and not a citizen. Also, in talking to a co-worker and parent whose child just started their freshman year in college this year, I asked her what tips she would give to parents who had children next year, and she said, how early you apply for your FASFA or WASFA matters. She said she feels like her son got a lot of financial aid to go to school because they did it right away, and their neighbor who had applied several months later got a smaller package. So you'll see an example of the package. And so as Melanie said, as we put it in, the earlier you apply, because there's a finite pot of money, and as the months progress, there's less and less available to be able to offer to students. So apply as soon as you can, which is starting early January. Okay. So then the next one.
Okay, and this is the WASFA, that stands for Washington Application for State Financial Aid. And this allows students that are undocumented or other students who do not qualify for FAFSA due to immigration status or tax reasons or for whatever reason. This is, you can and should apply for WASFA to receive state financial aid. So this could be students with DACA, with temporary protection status, without green card, or without a social security number. This is designed for that purpose, and you can and should apply. Again, this is an application in senior year. You apply for either FAFSA or for WASFA. You don't have to do both. So if you apply for FAFSA, that will make you eligible for federal and state aid. If you cannot apply for federal aid through FAFSA, then you apply just to WASFA, and that gives your point of entry in for state financial aid. Again, parent immigration status is not relevant. This is also a free application. Students, to qualify, students must show that they have lived in Washington State for at least a year before their college freshman year begins to qualify. So living in Washington State for all of your senior year prior to college would make you eligible for WASFA. Again, this qualifies you for state programs, could be work study, could be grant. Students can apply and then decide, I'm going to opt not to take this, I'm going to accept it, I'm going to, choose. This just gives you the option. And students who fill out the WASFA are automatically applying for state grant. So this application also opens the end of December 31st. Typically it is earlier. So if you have a younger student who will be a senior years down the road, I would anticipate it being more like a beginning of October task. This is also an application that needs to be completed each year, and it's available to students who are seeking continuing education as well. So if you are a parent and you're thinking about going back to school and you want to consider some support, this is also can be for you. And students who need to complete an affidavit to qualify for the in-state tuition, if the student's undocumented, or a non-immigrant visa holder, that there is an affidavit that you sign to show that you qualify for state tuition. So again, this is a lot of information. We've included a link here where you can go to the website and learn a lot more about WASFA. Okay, when you are filling out these applications, take a deep breath. Carve out a little bit of time. They can be frustrating. They can be very detailed. So this is not a quick and straightforward. It can take a little bit of time. So give yourself some grace. It's okay to maybe punch a pillow along the way if you get frustrated. But taking it one step at a time and allowing time will really help you to succeed in this process. So the first thing that students and parents will need for the FAFSA is an FSA ID. And there's a process for this. So you start the process by working to get your FSA ID. It's a process to access the form. You request it. It then takes up to 5 days. Then they send you back a username and a password generated by the system, and then you have to return. So there's a lag time there. Parents also get the ID, and parents without Social Security number wait for the application to open in December to start the process to get an FSA ID. For WASFA, once a student completes the online application, so this is a multi-step process as well, the student completes their part of the application, and then they must send an email to their family, to their parent or caregiver, asking them to sign the form. And the form is not complete until parent or caregiver signs that form. So making sure you're covering both steps is critical. And then there can be a little bit of a process in understanding which parent's income to use and when a parent's income is not relevant. So a student should not use their parent's income if they are an independent applicant. That's not very common, but we included a link here where you can learn more about who might qualify under that umbrella.
Melanie, a quick question.
Yes.
Can parents and students apply for the FSA ID now, or should they wait till December 31st?
Ina, do you know? I think they can begin it now, but I'm not 100% sure.
I believe, and I could be wrong, that students can apply, but parents have to wait.
Okay. And do a Google search on FAFSA and visit the site. They will have tons of information on there, and that'll help you get going. So you can see we've included the URL here. Maybe learn it if you are able to paste that into the chat. That could be helpful as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what information or documents would you need to complete the WASFA or FAFSA? And again, you only complete one of these. So you're either doing the FAFSA, and if you don't qualify for that, then you're going with the WASFA. So you would need tax documents to show the salary of parents from 2 years before the school year that they will be applying for aid. So If you are applying for aid when you go to college in 24-25 at this next school year, you're looking at salary from 2022. So you're going back 2 years looking at tax documents. You may need to provide documents that show investment income. I'm guessing that means to say other than home. Yep. You need your ID, student ID. It could be a driver's license or an approved state ID. I'm thinking school ID does not count here. So use state ID, either a driver's license or otherwise. If you are receiving SNAP or Medicaid or welfare in certain format, you would need the case number. So that's good to have on hand. And then we've included a link here. This can guide a student through understanding which parent's income to use in the process. So families, we have families of every sort of constellation going on, and each one is unique. And so using this resource will help you understand whose income do I include under the bucket of parent. Okay, and then the last thing that you'll need is you want to think about, to whom do I want to send my FAFSA status? So which colleges might need to receive this information to know what financial aid to offer me. Again, this is a free application. So you can send it to 20 colleges and universities. You can make your list, and my guess is there is a process for adding schools after the fact if there's an additional school that comes to your interest. Okay. So then what happens? So financial aid, the FAFSA is the application form that helps to determine your federal aid. It can also help qualify you for state aid. The college receives it, and they look at what you're receiving elsewhere and also your need and your eligibility, and then they may offer you their own financial aid. They may also have their own financial aid application. So you may have additional steps to take at the college. Most of them do ask for either the FAFSA or the WASFA to be completed. So whether or not you believe you will get aid, strongly recommend that January this year or October next year, if you're currently a junior, that you fill out that form. So while private colleges typically are more expensive than a public college, so like Washington State University or UW, Central, Eastern, Evergreen, those are all public colleges, and their tuition is more affordable because they are public. Private schools, Gonzaga, Seattle U, SPU, typically tuition is higher, but they also typically offer additional financial aid. So when you are looking into private schools, then even more so strongly recommend that you're completing the financial aid packet. Okay, College Bound is a particular type of grant. It's a unique program in Washington State, and qualification for it begins in middle school. So Washington State students that qualify for free and reduced lunch in 7th, 8th grade are invited into this program, and then encouraged to stay on track for higher education after high school by completing their graduation requirements and getting ready for college level work. And then in senior year, there's a database that holds the information on eligible students. In senior year, if you continue to be eligible, then once you file FAFSA or WASFA, and that is sent to the School of Enrollment, this also comes into play in your financial aid package. So for college-bound students, FAFSA or WASFA is also the first step in receiving the benefit of that grant program. And there's more information on the linked here as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, the Washington State Opportunity Scholarship. This is a really amazing program, and we've linked to their website here. Washington State recognizes that we have high demand trade careers. We have really amazing trade careers, STEM and healthcare careers, where our state is understaffed, and we need talented people in these roles. And additionally, we know that these programs will benefit from diversity in filling these positions. So everything around this program is designed to really support Washington students along the path to entering one of those high demand, high pay trade 2-year or 4-year degree programs in a high demand career area. So in Washington State, it could be that you're going through an apprenticeship, through a 2-year degree, 2-year certification, or going for a 4-year college plan. All of those could come into play with the Washington State Opportunity Scholarship. And this creates support all the way through college and into your career for those that are often furthest from opportunity in these fields. And that could be women, students of color, first-generation students. The program really is valuing the opportunity to build diversity and to support students towards those high demand careers. Strongly recommend looking at that website. Okay, so this is a lot of different ways that you can get money for college. So it's some work, right? But each one of these steps could contribute toward reducing the cost of college experience. So for students who attend a Washington State college, technical school, university, students who qualify for FAFSA also automatically are qualifying for, that's the same application for Washington State aid. If you were already in the college-bound scholarship program, then you would also have that in addition. And all of these are based on income, eligibility, and need, not at all on merit. So these are great opportunities. And students who are citizens green card holders who can apply for FAFSA, you might have FAFSA, you might have Washington State grant, you might get financial aid from the college, and then you also might get the Washington State Opportunity Scholarship. And there's more private scholarships. So if you're willing to put in the work, there is a lot of opportunity to reduce the cost of going to college. Okay, next slide. And I think I'm turning it over to you, Lorna.
Okay, thank you. So tips for college application process. So it might be beneficial for students to apply to both private and public colleges and universities. The reason we say that is very often students are interested in private school colleges, but they are worried that the cost of the private school is too high and that they wouldn't qualify. But what we have noticed from other student applications is very often they get enough grants, not loans, grants from the college, the private college, that would make it equivalent for them to go to that private college rather than a public college. That's one of the reasons why we encourage students to apply for FASFA or WASFA, just because it's possible that they could get that private college tuition support. Because private colleges and institutions might have financial aid outside of the state funds, and they might offer it to students based on financial need. They will also work with your child to determine outside costs of college attendance, transportation, travel, clothing, etc. One of the things that we also tell parents as they're getting to this point is to start preparing your child for life in the dorm or an apartment if they're moving on. And this is a big celebration and journey as much as it is exciting, nerve-wracking, and anxiety-inducing journey. So it's both, as Ina laughs as she's towards the end of her journey. application choices. So what's one of the things that's going to happen? Oh, this is Melanie. So I'll let Melanie talk.
Okay, sorry, sorry, Lorna. Okay, so when a student applies to college, there are various deadlines that they might consider in the college application. So in general, the earlier you apply for financial aid, the better. The earlier you apply for college, the better as well, although it's important to know about how the choices might impact you. So there's one thing called early decision. And the thing with early decision is it is binding. So this is, you have decided this one college is the one that you would attend no matter what. This is your top choice and you would forsake all others if admitted. So it is a restrictive decision. And you need to be ready to make a commitment regardless of the financial aid that they offer. And so early decision is a great opportunity, but it may not be for everyone. It may not be something that you feel strongly enough to say, I will take this offer without seeing what any of the other offers are. Right? So you need to think seriously about the restrictiveness of this choice and decide if that is right for you. Because there is also early action option. And so early action, you are applying early, you're receiving information about whether you got in early, but it's non-binding. So you can apply to multiple colleges early action and receive an early response. You don't have to commit any earlier, but you know sooner what you are being offered, and then that can help you in making decisions. Regular decision is what ultimately, like, the last point at which they accept applications. I don't recommend waiting until the last minute to apply to a college, although we do have students who do so. So even if you are choosing not to go early decision or early action, you can still apply regular decision and get your application in on the early side, and hear back, be in better standing with a college to receive financial aid, to get housing information, and to be admitted. So that's the standard deadline. And applying ahead of the standard deadline is just fine, even when you are going regular decision.
Melanie, a parent is asking, why would a school offer, or what's the benefit of early decision? Or why is that offered?
So early decision for very highly selective colleges, this can allow them to lock in their most committed applicants. So, colleges are aware that students might be applying to multiple colleges when they send out an admission letter. That doesn't guarantee that they filled that spot in their next year freshman class. So early decision allows them the college to have seats filled that are guaranteed, and that helps them know sooner what additional opportunities they have to fill out their freshman class for the following year. So that's a reason why college would offer it. Student who is very, very serious and knows for sure that college is their one true love and they will go there no matter what, they're ready to make that commitment, and they can go and know sooner and have the stress of the situation. If they're admitted, then they could be sitting in December knowing what they're doing next year, while many of their friends are still waiting to hear back from other colleges, and that can provide some comfort.
And additionally, the applicant pool is a little bit smaller for early decision. So if you know the school that you want to apply to, and you would go to, like Melanie said, regardless of financial situation, then you could apply early decision and you're committed, and the pool of applicants is smaller. So.
And it's not particularly that a college is an early decision college. You just mark that you want you would make an early decision and early commitment to that college. So, Melanie, another question a parent asked is, they noticed the word rolling admission
Yes.
on the WSU, and so how does that play into these three sections?
Yep, there's two additional terms I'm realizing we didn't include on here. Some colleges have rolling admission. Whenever they get the application, they'll review it and they'll send a response. So WSU, you could apply in October and hear back in October, and your decision is made and you've locked it in. They will continue to have rolling admission where, as applications come in all throughout the year, they are processing them and sending offers. There are other schools that do pooling admission. So UW Seattle does pooling admission. We want all of our applications by a certain deadline. And then we want to take our time and look at all of those applications. And then we will tell everybody around the same time in the spring. So that's an example of a pooling admission.
So different colleges have different admission plans, and
Yep.
really sometimes, especially colleges that are looking for at their numbers and as a business, early admission is probably the most common for those colleges as they try to get their numbers more concretely set.
And the best thing to do is to go to a college that might be of interest and look at their admissions website. And you'll find quite a lot of information on their website. You can explore just a handful of different colleges to get an idea of how schools vary.
Okay, thank you, Melanie.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens? You fill out this financial aid form, then what happens? So you've filled out your college application, you filled out your financial aid form, and then students will get letters from college and university to which they've applied, letting them know you were accepted, you were not accepted, or we've put you on a wait list. And so if you're accepted, we want you to come to our school. If you're not accepted, thank you very much for applying, but no thank you, you won't be a student here next year. Wait list is like, we're not sure we want you yet, but we're still considering it. So this isn't a no, but it's not a guaranteed yes either. So you hear one of those three things back from a college after applying. And then when you are accepted, then the college can access the WASFA or FASFA forms to know what government aid, federal and state, you have received or will be receiving. And then the college or university can decide what financial aid they might be offering, and they'll send a financial aid offer to a student after their acceptance that shows a detailed plan for the aid that they would receive for attending this college. And then based on all of that information, student and family decide, is this the right fit for me, or is a different college's offer the right fit for me? Okay, next slide. So this is an example of what a financial aid offer from a college might look like. So ABC University here is providing a financial aid offer to John Smith, saying this is the cost of attendance, including tuition, fees, housing, meals, all the stuff. Here are the factors, and then itemized out, this is the financial aid that we would offer you. And you can see it's listed, in this case, a semester school, fall semester and spring semester for that year. And they might list some outside scholarships in there as well.
So this is sent from the college or university after the child has been accepted. And yes, you will be sharing that information on your FASFA and WASFA application, which colleges you're applying for, so that this way the college, WASFA and FASFA, can talk to and send this information to the college and share that you're interested, and then the college can look at your financial need and then offer you financial need. So it's the WASFA and FASFA application works with the college, so the college can also see and offer you a financial need. And that was one of the questions asked, if it asks which colleges you're applying. So you do need to know what colleges you're applying to as you're applying to the FASFA and WASFA, so that they can share that information. Because as you can see, this letter is sent from the college or university. Also, you will notice in the beginning of the presentation, I talked about grants. So this student is getting a total of 35 plus another 5, so it's 43,000, $44,000 in grant money. And grant money, remember, is not money you're paying back. Okay. And then the loan being offered is only about a $5,000 loan, and then work study another 1,500. So in the sample offer, it shows you the amount of money. So also it shows you that it breaks it down how they're offering aid. So note, financial aid offered is going to be a combination of grants, work study, loans, all of that would be in that one package deal that they send you from that university, to help you understand the cost that you will be having to pay for that college.
Okay, next slide. Okay, we mentioned the Washington Guaranteed Admission Program. You'll also hear this called GAP, Guaranteed Admission Program. Issaquah School District is participating in this program. And what you need to know is that students are guaranteed admission to 5 Washington State public colleges and universities if they meet the following minimum requirements. So you met these requirements, you are guaranteed admission to these 5 schools. So number 1, do you have a minimum GPA of 3.0 or higher? And then you maintain that through the end of your senior year. And are you on track to complete all college admission distribution requirements, or CADRs, by the end of 12th grade? A CADR is a college entrance requirement. So colleges want to see that you've done 4 years of English, you've done math through Algebra 2 and also a quantitative class in your senior year. You've got 3 years of science, including lab-based science and math-based science. So these are like, did you take the minimum college entrance classes? That's what a CADR is. So you got a 3.0 and you've earned your CADRs. You are guaranteed admission to these 5 Washington State public schools. You still must apply. So being guaranteed admission doesn't mean you'll be admitted. You have to apply to say you want to come. And then when they see your application, you're auto admitted. So you're guaranteed admission once you apply. And even if you don't meet that criteria, let's say you have a 2.9 GPA or you're missing one of your CADR distribution requirements, you should still apply. So there is not these people are guaranteed admission and these people, everyone else will not be admitted. It is these people are guaranteed admission. And if you aren't quite there, we still want to learn about you and consider you. And we may very well be interested in you and make you an offer as well. So even if a student is not guaranteed admission, they still want to attend one of the schools, they absolutely can and should apply. So applying to the schools that interest you, no matter what, whether you meet the minimum guaranteed admission criteria or not, is a good idea. Okay, so the colleges, which colleges participate in this program? We said 5, it's actually 6. So it is Central, Eastern, Evergreen, Washington State, Western, and UW-Tacoma. All of these schools do participate in this program. So you have a 3.0 and your CADRs, you're guaranteed admission.
Sorry, last year they only had 5, and this year University of Washington Tacoma campus was a new addition, and I didn't update the slide deck. Yeah, hopefully in time, Bothell campus will also be included in this, but I don't see University of Washington added, but I was very excited to see Tacoma added to this.
Yeah. Okay, so we've gone through a lot of terms, so we won't cover this here, but we wanted to make sure you had a glossary and you had some links to learn more about this information following up. As Lorna said, if you fill out the feedback form, you will get a copy of this presentation, including all of these links, so you can learn more.
I'm going to put the feedback form again in the link so that you can see it. Also, there was a question earlier about if you've already completed created an ID, do you need to create an ID again? I would go back to the FASFA site. They usually have a returning user button, and the returning user button will direct you to which scenario, if it's a new child or if it's your second year, because remember, you sh if your child is in college, they have to apply for WASFA and FASFA
Every
every single year. So you're going to be using that ID number all years they're in college. And if you have another child, you'll have to be using that number. So there's a returning user number, a button in the application process.
It's basically a login and a password. So they have a, if you forgot your password, you can reset your password kind of thing.
So the best person to really talk to about follow-up additional questions, we have some basic questions, but I will let you know that I definitely and Melanie and Ina are not the experts because the college and career specialists at each college is. We can definitely guide you and direct you in the right pathway. But those are the people that you really want to get in contact with because they're the people on campus who are the expert, have that expert knowledge. And I've included when you get the link, you can email them and ask them to set up an appointment or chat with them as needed to do about questions. And we're happy to answer some questions today, soon as the presentation is about to end. Also, we have an additional event coming up on January 10th at the administration building and on January 11th for those families who live in the Liberty High School area. And that event is to help families, and sometimes it's just really to answer some questions as they're going through the process. At that event, we will be having um, the college and career specialists attending, and we'll also have interpreters as needed to help families complete this form because we know that it can be challenging to get through this, and we don't want to have filling out the form for a student or a parent a barrier for the child to get a financial aid to go to college. So you can use this QR code, or it's also already posted on my website, the Cultural and Family Partnership website. I'll send it to you if you complete the feedback form, or you can go to the school district website for it. Again, this is the feedback form. Here is the QR code. I can put the link in, or you can see the link. Everyone who completes the feedback form, one of the questions is, do you want the PowerPoint, the slide deck sent to you? And I'll be sending the slide deck to you. And also, I'm currently recording the presentation. And so I will be able to send the presentation to you once I have your email so that I can send this after the presentation. And that way you can access a lot of the links. I know many of you are interested in the links. We do have several resources. Many people who, when they signed up for this event, they were very curious and they were looking for places to look for scholarships. So we have several of the scholarships search engines listed here. The washboard.org is one of the big ones, and College Search was also another big one that has come up, and suggestions from other parents and students in previous years. We also have some additional resources and answers because a big question we always get, or last year and this year, was, is there an income cutoff for eligibility? Because some people just want to know, should I apply? Is it even worth my time to go through this process? We always say yes, it's really not going to hurt. But if you're curious, the article is over here if you want to look at it and see if you want to apply for it. And then I also want to make sure you all are familiar with the schools. Each of the school has the College and Career Center link, because I have just been getting ready for this presentation. I've been looking at some of their resources. And besides having the colleges come to visit, they also have a link for the different scholarships that are available. And so if you go down here, it talks about the different kinds of scholarships that might be available for students, and a link to really it is a description and overview. So go through this if you can and just see what the scholarships are, who's eligible to apply for it, who's not. And it's a great way to find out what kind of scholarships are out there on this site, but also there are many search engines that help you find scholarships. At this
Also,
time,
students can go into the college and career centers, and the specialists there have huge lists of scholarships available, and only students can go there. So that's helpful for them to be involved in the process, to find out what scholarships are out there.
okay, so I stopped recording, and so right now I am going to answer some of the questions. And so remember, I just got a question again about getting the recording in the slide deck. And to do that, please make sure you complete the feedback form so I can get your email. So then that I'll be using that to send the slide deck and the recording to families. So
Lauren,
if you
I
want
don't
the
think
slide,
you stopped recording.
there we go.